Let me do.
So how has your day been, sir? While we wait for a few others to join.
Yeah, pretty
How
good.
has your day been?
Yeah, pretty good. I got up. I have a goal to read the entire Bible again after I did in 2019. So this year, I started Genesis, Exodus. I'm excited with Exodus.
Oh, interesting.
I'm done with Genesis.
Oh, okay, you were following chronologically.
Yeah, three chapters every day. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I actually followed this Bible plan so that reads the Bible in a year. So I've really been reading Genesis a lot. I think today I read Genesis 23 to 2025. But that one actually was mixing has been mixing for this January so far. It's been mixing Genesis and March and then a few Psalms. So
Oh,
like I'm actually at like Mark chapter 8 so
mhm.
far and like Genesis chapter 25 currently with a few psalms in between. So it's been mixing. You can maybe read Genesis chapter 1 to 2 today and maybe read Mark chapter 1, or it's just been mixing it. So,
I see. That's so
but it's
cool.
been pretty good.
Yeah, I love that. I'm glad to hear that. It teaches a lot. You know,
Yeah,
I went back to the patriarchs, the Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, all of that.
yeah.
So
It's
cool.
very
Like,
important actually.
mhm,
It's very, very important.
yeah.
Like, honestly, the Bible will teach you a lot. The Bible
Yeah.
will teach you a lot. Like the other day when I was reading that Genesis, there was this part of, let me just quickly share this link
Okay.
for the live. There was this part when Hagar had when they had sent Hagar away, and
Yeah.
then she went with the child, and then she the water she had was finished, and then she left the child and was scared that the child would die and just left the child there. And
You mean
when God,
Israel?
yes, the child Ishmael,
Okay.
when the Holy Spirit, the angel heard the God heard the cry of the child, and the angel came and spoke to Hagar and opened her eyes to see a well of water that she
Mhm.
took now and gave the child. This just spoke to me in some way. It was like there are actually times that something is there, but because we are too blinded by our current situation, we are not seeing it. Because the way he looked at it, the well was just around, but she wasn't seeing it because she was like already pissed
Mhm.
that whatever is going on, well, just let the child die, but at least let me not see it. But when God came and spoke to her and opened her eyes, she saw it. She saw it. So sometimes we need God to open our eyes to actually see what we are looking for. It's not like it's not there, but we can't see it.
Yeah.
Because,
You know,
so it was just honestly reading the Bible will teach you a lot. I have lessons I've been writing every day. If I want to start writing about my Bible, it's just a lot. It's just a lot. But it's just okay. So we'll just please let's start in like 5 minutes time. Two
okay.
people have joined now, so maybe a few others could join us, and then we'll start.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So I read through, you know, uh, that is from 30 some from 31st chapter, and I was wondering why did God have to punish Esau that way. I've always been wondering why all of that. Why did he have to go through all of that? And I'm like, how can God tolerate lies telling? How can Rebecca lie, create confusion and then participate in stealing blessings? Then and God, I was doing my research and God actually punished her for doing that because remember when Jacob left, Rebecca never saw him again until she died. You notice that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the punishment. God was like, I'm going to punish you, Rebecca, for doing that atrocity. You will not see him. Though you love someone, you will not see him until you die. So by the time he was coming back, Rebecca has long died. And then he has to face Esau, and Esau was very cool that time, and he accepted the gifts. He accepted the gifts, and then they were good again.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've never seen it that way. I've
I
never
mean,
actually seen it that was like the punishment for it. But yeah, it's
yeah,
actually impressive reading the Bible. It's like every even the places you've read before, every
mhm,
time it's usually a new revelation. It's so good. It feels so
absolutely.
good. Yeah, I'm actually glad to hear learn that perspective from you today because honestly, never thought of it like that or never saw it like that at all. Reading that through that
It
story.
was a big deal, and that's
Yeah.
the same thing that Isaac did to Jacob. The same thing that Jacob did to Joseph's grandchildren. I mean, Joseph's children, Manasseh and Ephraim.
Yes. Yes. It's just crazy.
Ephraim was
It was
blessed. Manasseh, as and Manasseh is the firstborn, and then Ephraim was the second. But the person that received more blessing was Ephraim.
yeah. So it was not like because of that singular thing that Jacob initially did. It was not like it's running in the bloodline. That deception.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was. You could say that was a generational pattern or something because it was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It's just crazy. It's just really crazy. Okay. In exactly 3 minutes time,
Okay.
10 will start. Yes, so Mercy said it now looked like a pattern. Honestly, it did look like a pattern. Did look like a pattern, and
Yeah.
it's just crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Generational pattern started right then.
Hmm. So anything you do, even if God is at peace with you, he will punish you because God punish, he punishes only people he loves. You know what I mean? Like if he doesn't love you, he'll not punish you, just allow you. He punishes you now so that you not repeat that again the same time, next time, and all of that. Because he
Yeah,
loves us. That's why he punished us at times. Some people are like, God isn't supposed to punish us. Like, no, you have to be punished. He has to
yeah.
punish.
God
Yeah,
disciplines the people that He loves. God
exactly.
disciplines the people that He loves. So, yeah, Mercy, thank you for that. My Mercy just said in the comments that mercy doesn't take away consequences. It's
There we
crazy that
go.
it's mercy that is saying it.
There we go, Mercy.
Mercy is saying that mercy doesn't take away consequences, and that's so true. That's so
I
true.
think, yeah,
You
very true.
face the consequences of your action before of course, he'll forgive you, but you have
Yeah.
to face it.
Yeah. The next person to comment now is Grace. Grace, you come and comment that Grace. Grace
That
alone.
grace doesn't take away grace.
Yeah, Grace alone does not go without consequences of this time.
I know. That's true. Okay. 1 more minute and we start. We are three of us. That's enough to start.
Mhm.
Other people can join
Yeah,
in later
we
to
are
watch
five
the
hosts
video.
right now. We have three people and five.
Oh yeah, we are. We are here too. So yeah, we five.
The family is growing bigger.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right, Mercy. Consequences must happen. So somebody says that when you're thinking of doing whatever, think about the consequences before you do it. Because some
Mm-hmm.
people talk about thinking about the consequences. Evaluate the consequences very well before you jump into that action or that decision.
Yeah, just like Newton's law of motion says, to every action there's an equal but opposite reaction. So, like whatever you're doing, there'll be a consequence. There
Yep.
definitely will be a consequence.
Yeah. I think that's the third law of motion. I think.
Yes, Newton's third law of motion. So every action there is an equal but opposite reaction. It
Opposite
applies to life and everything, honestly.
everywhere.
Hmm. Okay, 10 minutes past 1 p.m. and 10 minutes past 7 p.m. in Cameroon. So we're going to start. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dear Single Christian Girl live session today. This is me, your host, KB, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you're watching us, please tell us who you are in the comment section and where you're watching us from. And Coach Oliver Nshom, a special welcome to you. I'm so excited to have you here today, and thank you so much for accepting our invite honoring our invite to come and bless us today. So for people who do not know, I'll just give a brief of who he is, but I'll let him introduce himself properly. Coach Oliver Nshom is an international speaker. He's originally from Cameroon, but he's an international speaker. He speaks in the USA, speaks in Cameroon, speaks in Singapore. He has spoken in several countries across the world. And he's not just a speaker, but he's also a trainer of speakers. He has trained over 20,000 people in speaking, I inclusive. I actually took his speaking training while I was in Cameroon. So this is what you see. It's also a product of him. And I personally worked with him. He's somebody who has a lot of integrity. He's a child of God. You know, here we do Christian things. So I don't just bring people who maybe just have knowledge but don't know God. I bring people who grace us in a godly way too. So he's a husband, he's a father, and I'm not going to say a lot. I'm going to let him introduce himself properly. So, Coach Oliver Nshom, thank you again for honoring an invitation. Please, can you just tell people who you are?
I think you already did the introduction. So I'll introduce myself at the end of the people evaluate.
At the end.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. That's okay. That's fine. That's fine. Then we'll just go ahead with the session.
yeah.
Once again, if you're here, please tell us where you're watching us from in the comment section and let us know. So, Coach, before we go into maybe the tea of today, which is like the mindset and everything, right now I really thank God, of course, celebrate God for how far you've come, how far He's brought you, and all of that. But I want to think that there were moments of challenges. Of course, I know some of them and all of that. I want to ask, I want to ask that before getting to this level that you were, right, there were certainly moments that were not working. Is there that it seemed like you're putting in the effort and things were not working? Because I remember having a conversation with one of my girls yesterday. She said she started this year, and then instead of writing goals, she just decided to just leave it to God because she almost cried looking at it, looking at what God had told her of how far she would be and where she is now. She was feeling like there's no balance. Is there a moment that you actually like, and it's just God that reminded her that it's in His own time? But is there a moment that you felt like you're putting in the work, nothing was going, that you almost felt discouraged? If yes, what kept you going in those moments? I feel like somebody will need it.
Thank you so much, B, for that brilliant question. Before I answer the question, I just want to say congratulations. I remember a few days ago, like 5, 6 years, we were doing a lot of stuff in Cameroon together. You're just the little girl, the little girl. Really,
That's funny.
you're
Thank
a
you.
global figure. You're a global figure. I know, B, I can always thank God for your life and for how far He has taken you. And the Bible says, "To whom more is given, more is expected." I don't know whether it's the Bible who says that or some people say that, but I think it's actually having a connotation of the Bible. And I just want to say congratulations for for working hard, for being disciplined and focused on what you believe is your assignment that God gave you here on earth. Yeah, of course, I had
Thank you.
a lot of such. You're welcome. I had a lot of such moments. It will surprise you that at a certain point in my life, I was contemplating suicide. That's a true story. Okay, that's a very true story. That was somewhere in 2022, 2020, yeah, 2022, 2023, just at the verge of the biggest breakthrough in my career. I was contemplating suicide. And as God will always do it, when you work hard, when you put in the effort, the hard work, the commitment, the dedication, the discipline, the focus in that assignment He has given you to do, the moment that the biggest of the breakthrough that you've been craving for and yearning for and praying for is about to come, it is always very characterized with pain, depression, and
And
anxiety.
anxiety.
And
And
so
so
when you
when
see
you
that
see that
pain that is
pain,
at peak, you have to be sensitive. And that was when I was at about, and I will never forget about this. Like I pick a call from Dr. Madison Garrison early in the morning, like 4 a.m. in the morning. I don't know what came over his mind for him to call me at that time of the night. And I was traveling to Buya. And I had one thought. I left Yaoundé to Buya. And the only thought in my mind was to cancel my name from Oliver Nshom to whatever. Let people never know me as Oliver Nshom because I was a blatant failure. I was a big failure. You know what I mean? Like you put in the work, you put in the sacrifices, but yet you're not seeing the result visible. At that point, Dr. Madison called me 4 a.m. in the morning. True story. And he told me, Oliver, no matter what people say about you, no matter what people think about you, if you have a good heart, you succeed. That was what resurrected my soul, my life, my dreams, everything. And it came at a time when I was traveling to speak in Mutengenes to train some speakers there. And he gave me a scholarship. He gave me an opportunity to attend Lisaniko's event in Los Angeles virtually. And he got me a ticket for that event. And that was a turning point in my life, B. That was a turning point in my life. And so just at the time I was about to give up, at the heat of the pain, the heat of the heat, you know, what happened was that I received a prophetic call from someone I look up to, I respect so much, that he reminded me, and I believe that it was God who asked him to call me at that morning, early morning. It was God who asked him to call me. And he called me, he reassured me that I'm on track. And again, you may be listening to me right now, and you're at that point, at the turning point, and all you have to give up. I just want to encourage you. This could be that call that I received from Dr. Madison today and now that I'm giving you. I'm telling you that no matter what people say about you, no matter what people think about you, if you have a good heart, you will make it. You will succeed. You will go to where you want to go. You will achieve the dreams you have to achieve for God. You will attain the heights you want to attain with your life, with your career, with your ministry, irrespective of where you are watching us from right now. If you have a good heart, irrespective of what people are thinking about you right now, saying about you right now, you will succeed. I know what I'm talking about. Just keep on going and never give up.
Hmm, that was profound. That was profound. I never thought of it in that direction. That was profound. And I'm so glad that you shared that story of yours because, and I'm so glad that you shared that you contemplated suicide because there are actually times that people feel like they're the only ones going through depression or thoughts like this. But getting to know that somebody who is living kind of like in their dreams at this point, just a few years ago, was at a point that they actually did contemplate taking their own life. But God came in just on time. It's reassuring to know that God sees you and sometimes the devil will bring crazy ideas before the breakthrough and but he definitely will bring a word. And I'm glad that you shared that word. Thank you so much, sir. That should have spoken to someone because it did speak to me.
Amen.
So last week I shared an episode, the episode about mindset shifts that I feel like every Christian girl should make in order to thrive, to essentially thrive. And I feel like one of the things that were really the ones that say if I could pick just one point out of the seven that I really would want everybody to focus on is scarcity and abundance mindset. Personally, I feel like the reason why some people feel limited on those things is because of they think too small. They
Yeah,
think too small, and I think your life exemplify that because I feel like even when you were not making it with, let me use that word, you
yeah.
still had you were seeing the you had abundance mindset to think that it was possible. So do you personally too think that scarcity mindset is what limits people a lot, and how can people move from scarcity to abundance? How did that help in your journey?
I love that. That's a very interesting question. The Bible says that greater is he that is in us than he who is in the world. You know, First John 4. And I believe so much in that particular statement. You see, so the truth is that no one ever succeed with a scarcity mindset. And when we talk about the scarcity mindset, what do we really mean here? We mean things like, oh, I cannot, oh, I'm not able, oh, I'm not fit, oh, I'm not enough, I'm not beautiful enough, I'm not handsome enough, I'm not intelligent enough, I'm not, all of the I'm not. That's the scarcity mindset. And nobody ever succeed with that scarcity mindset. I mean, let me just give you a background, my background. Being the son of a traditional doctor, from Uku, from a family where nobody ever even had a first school living, okay, living. No first school living, not to talk about O level. I'm not the firstborn, I'm the fourth. And it means that the first, the second, third, none of them successfully had their first school living certificate. And being the fourth born and coming from that lineage, the obvious thing was for me to end up in class 5 or class 4 4 or class 6 like my predecessor did. And then that was normal. And if I could have done that, nobody would even blame me because nobody had a limit that I had to break. And so that's the background from which I'm coming from. My parents were not able to take care of all of that. And I love them because they did their best. But again, I was like, this is not going to happen in my own era, in my own generation. When I was going to secondary school, Kelly, you will not believe that every day I was trekking over 35 to 40 kilometers to go to school and back with feet, with my legs, And every single day as I'm going to school, my neighbors in the village, then they will say, this month will not finish why I have not dropped out of school because I was literally one of the one in like I was there were around 2 to 3 boys in my village going to school back then in 2004, 2005, and 6. So the rest of the other boys were not going to school. I can't explain why, and you ask me, I will not tell. So my parents tried sending me to secondary school, and that was the case. And of course, I dropped out from school. I dropped out from school all my life over 7 times, like 7 good times. True story. And every time I drop out of school, I always find myself going back to school. Somehow, my dad will bring me back to school, an uncle will bring me back to school. I'll go back to school myself. And I always had a little voice inside me whisper, Oliver, you're meant for something bigger, greater, beyond the village, beyond the Northwest region, beyond Cameroon, beyond Africa. The little voice always whispered. And this reminds me of what Michelle Obama was saying. She says when she was coaching her young girls that when you listen to that little voice, always believe that little voice that whisper to you that there's something in you bigger than what you're currently and where you're currently right now. Listen to that little voice, believe in it, and get out there. So, how did I actually overcome my limiting mindset? So, understanding my background, so it was obvious for me even to succumb to the limiting mindset that everybody around me had. But by the grace of God, I had to beat the record because I believe that, like the Bible says in 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7, for God has not given us the spirit of fear, nor timidity, but that of sound mind and courage. And so I saw myself as a child of God. And I remember my mother always tell me that you'll be a successful person. Oliver, you'll be a successful person. And growing up as a small boy, many people told me that I'll be a successful person. So I believed that I was going to be a successful person. And to me, success was not staying in the village, cutting people's mangoes and guavas and hunting in the bushes and all of that. I was about doing something that can touch the lives of people. So I believe that any other thing anybody would tell me that is contrary to what God told me, what my mother told me, what the people told me, I could not go for it. And so I knew that I was meant for something bigger, and I worked hard. I worked hard, read books, watched, started school, and that is how I was able to fight all of that limiting mindset with knowledge, with guidance, with counsel, with the word of God, with prayers, with fasting, with focus, with discipline, with hard work, with dedication, and with determination.
Hmm. That's profound. That's profound. Thank you so much, sir. Like you really need to say a lot. You really said a lot, sorry. You said a lot. But what stood out for me was the fact that your parents or your mom, I'm not sure if you mentioned that it was your mom constantly spoke the right words to you. And other people around you spoke the right words to you, that you're gonna be successful, you're gonna be this and that. So it's really important to hear the positive, and also you heard what God said about you. It's important to hear the positive things that people say to you other than the negative things. And also, like you said, you took it upon yourself to gain the knowledge, study the books, because the truth is that if you hear all of that and then you do not do anything about it, you do not study, I think you still remaining the same. I cannot really reiterate all that you said because you said a lot, but I'm sure that the girls are hearing and have definitely heard that. Thank you so much for that. So next question, like the post was about mindset shifts that to help Christian girls thrive. Like one of the things that I believe on Dear Single Christian Girl platform is that we are trying to raise girls that thrive in their single season and even in when they get married, they are balanced women, like women that would love the Lord, know scripture, but not only limit themselves. They can be able to speak in boardrooms, can be able to run companies, can be able to be balanced, like literally be balanced experience or show forth God's glory in all dimensions. So I believe most things that limit Christian girls is that they may focus just on God, focus on praying, focus on fasting, but don't focus on growing themselves. So what will you say that there are some other than the things that are listed? Of course, I don't want to keep going back to there since some people already watched. So what are some things from your perspective, some mindset shifts that Christian girls will need if they have to thrive in 2026 and beyond, if they have to grow out of their status quo? What are some things that you can say to them that needs to start from their mind? Because I believe that as a man thinketh, so is he. So some things start from the mindset and the conditioning. So let's hear your perspectives on that.
Okay. I love. Yeah, I want to talk about three things here. And then the first thing I want to talk about here is very important. It's a big mindset shift. So Nelson Mandela is regarded as one of the most respected leader ever who ever lived. Nelson Mandela is a political icon and someone I've so dear to my heart. Like I'm sure you do the same thing, Kelly. And
Mhm.
Nelson Mandela one day with his crew were flying an aircraft and the engine had a problem and there was a big sound boom and everybody in the aircraft was panicking. And at that point, Nelson Mandela was reading a newspaper. Then he did not bother. He continued reading the newspaper. His assistant looked at him and like, Mr. President, are you okay? He just nodded his head. He kept on reading the newspaper. And then when the aircraft landed, Nelson Mandela actually confessed, you know, to his close collaborator that, man, I was scared when I heard that noise. You know how Nelson Mandela speaks, right? I was scared when I heard that noise. But he said that after that sound in the aircraft happened already. And so this is very important to succeed in whatever you're doing. There's going to be a lot of things that will happen that will shake your faith, that would cause chaos, that will make you to be nervous. And it is important to stay focused in the midst of chaos, in the moment of pain, in the moment of difficulties. It is important to stay focused. And this I can reiterate this, Kelly, in my training as a pilot. I was learning how to fly the plane, all of that. One day I went up like 7,200 feet with my trainer, and the guy gave me the steering to control the stuff. He asked me to turn. As I was turning, the thing was falling down. And he asked me to take up. As I was taking up, my hand was like almost coming out of my chest. And I was really scared to dirt. So he asked me, Oliver, how are you feeling right now? You don't believe what I said. I told my trainer that I'm feeling fantastic. But the body language on my face was scared to dirt. But I told him that I was feeling fantastic. And then he looked at me and smiled. And then we kept on. So when we landed back at the airport there, what happened was that I told him that, well, man, I was so scared. When we were up there, I was so scared. What's the point I'm making? That the moments in your life for you to win in 2026, difficulties will show up, challenges will show up, temptation will show up. The question is, are you gonna succumb or yield to that by your facial expression, by your body language, by your actions, by your emotions, or you're going to stay focused, or you're going to stay disciplined? Because if I could have told my trainer that I am scared, I cannot continue this journey, we have to stop here and go back, I couldn't have finished the training that day.
Yes.
If Nelson Mandela have been panicking like any other person was panicking, I mean, it could have created more chaos than focus and stability. And so, the first thing I will recommend to every Christian girl watching this podcast right now to do to have an unprecedented year in 2026 is to learn to stay focused in the face of chaos.
Hmm.
That is a skill that once you practice that and master it, you will achieve things that will even surprise your enemies, the devil, and your entire ecosystem. Why? Because when you experience that disappointment, be it in a relationship or not, how you relate, how you manage your confidence, how you manage your emotions after that breakdown will determine how far you can go. When you experience that job disappointment, how you manage yourself from that chaos will determine how far you can go. When you would experience that financial disappointment, how you manage yourself will determine how far you can go. So the first thing that you have to train yourself on is learn how to manage your emotions. Learn how to manage your emotions in the face of chaos, in the face of fear, in the face of disappointment. And that is the person that will make it big in 2026. Because if you're very familiar with the devil, Kelly, you notice that most of the time they attack people who are scared. When they see fear on your face, those are the people they want to intimidate. When they see, desperation on your face, those are the people they want to exploit. But when you show to fear, when it comes that you are unstoppable, you are not scared, you're not afraid, you are up to the task. I bet you always finish strong. That's number one. Number two, study patterns. Oprah Winfrey said, and I heard Kelly said in the last episode she did. When people show you who they are for the first time, believe them. Because truly, that's who they are. We live in a world where there's a lot of content creation, there's a lot of change and disruption happening. And it will surprise you to know, and make you not be that as we talk in 2025 alone, we had over 200 million content creators in America, in Africa, in Europe, in Asia, all around the world. 52% of these content creators, they were able to make over 191 billion US dollars. That is, as of now, we have over 191 to 250 billion US dollars in circulation for content creators out of the 200 million content creators we have globally. And by 2030, we're going to be having over 525 billion US dollars in circulation only for content creators. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, you can name them, X. And so what that means is that for you, a Christian who are listening to us right now, if you want to make it big, if you want to succeed in 2026, stop thinking about 9 to 5 jobs. Stop thinking about expecting your husband to give you pocket allowance, food money, or your fiance, whoever, or your brother, whoever. And start thinking about how can I use the skill I have to create an employment for myself digitally on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on TikTok, on X, because they have a lot of money out there for content creators. And so for that to happen, the evidence is already out there. You can see a lot of homes are earning from Facebook nowadays just with video content all around the world. And you're asking yourself, if you look at the rate of unemployment right now, it is skyrocketing every single day. Amazon fired thousands of workers not long from now and recruit AI to manage their automations. There's a company I used to work here in the United States, in Minnesota. It's a security company. They got to one money and fired all the customer service staff. They recruited a third party that could handle that. You get. So the job employment is dropping very fast, unemployment is rising. And so the question you're asking yourself is that what are the patterns saying? So the second point I'm talking about here in emphasizing is learn to read the patterns. Learn to read the patterns. Learn to read the patterns. The pattern saying that job unemployment is rising, employment is dropping, AI is coming in very powerfully, disrupting the process. And so if you're depending on your 9 to 5 job, you're depending on an employer that will pay you salary every month. You're heading to a ticking time bomb that will explode anytime from now. So if you're wise, you have data, you have internet connection, you have a phone, start creating content today, not tomorrow, like today, like even now. Start creating content because that is the future. If you can write and read, that is the future. Because if you don't do that, you get at certain point so disappointed and you'll be so broke that you don't know how to recover yourself and start. That's the second thing. Study the patterns, implement the patterns, and then begin to act on the patterns that you've seen because that is the reality. And the last thing I want to talk about, my list of three, is you must have a plan with mentors and coaches, accountability partners. This is so important. When you come to having a plan,
Having a plan.
three
Three
things:
things.
have
Have
somebody
somebody.
teaching, have somebody you're sharing with at the same level, have somebody you're looking up to, who you're learning from. That's a secret code to succeed in this era. Mentors and coaches will pour down on you, then you benchmark with your peers and colleagues what is working on Facebook, what best strategies on YouTube. As you're benchmarking with them, as they learn from you, you're learning from them. Then you have to teach what you're learning. Because if you don't teach, you will never really master the concept very well. So you have to teach every day, every week what you're learning to people who are behind you. You have to benchmark your peers that are doing the same thing you're doing to learn from them. You'll be shocked the amount of knowledge that your peers have, and you'll be ignoring because you have not been collaborating with them. You'll be shocked how far you will go and how fast you can go when you start benchmarking with your friends, people who are from different countries doing the same thing you're doing. And above all, you'll be surprised how much wisdom your mentors will pour upon you, your coaches will pour upon you, and how shorter it can take you to accomplish the things it took them so many years, so many decades, or so many score years for them to achieve just because you are able to be teachable, you are able to listen, and you're able to act upon the things you are learning. So those are the three things I would recommend for any Christian single girl watching this podcast to practice in this year 2026. And I bet you by December they will come back testifying. Okay? Those are the three things. Number one again is about you be able to face your challenges without being afraid. Number two, study the patterns. Study the patterns. And don't ignore the patterns. Because what you see is what is going to happen. And finally, number three, you have to have people you're teaching, your mentees. You have to have people you're all constantly benchmarking with them, what is working, what's not working, best practices, new practices. And you have to have somebody whom is inspiring you, who is inspiring you, and you're heading to where he is right now. If you put these things into practice, you get result.
Hmm. Thank you so much, Seth. Those are amazing points. I really like how you said to study patterns because the truth is, I heard someone say that you can never reinvent the wheel. You're just going to have to look at what works and then kind of follow it somehow. Because if you think that you just get up from nowhere and just change everything and just bring one new thing and then it blows up, sometimes you have to follow. And I like how you said there's a lot of opportunities on social media. Start small, start one day at a time. I'll just add to what Coach has said. Start small, start one day at a time. Of course, we all have our jobs 9 to 5, but you should not think to remain there,
Yeah.
essentially. And I like how you talked about having mentors, having mentees, having people you can learn from, even your peers.
Yeah.
And Mercy said something in the comments I just highlighted that don't let see finish deprive you from learning from your peers. And I think this is something that maybe you could talk a little bit on that. I feel like sometimes people let familiarity breed contempt a lot. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's very important. You know, the greatest school as of now, KB, is not the universities that we know by then. All right. So in America, thousands upon thousands of young people, they don't go to college again because when they graduate from college, they are receiving the same pay to do so just ended with the high school degree or certificate. So the idea here is that there is a lot of knowledge, not necessarily in the university classrooms, but in people, in peers, in friends, in collaborators. Now you'll be asking, this knowledge might not be necessarily what they study in school. This knowledge could simply be their experiences in life, their daily life experiences. Now, if we ask right now for everybody who's watching this podcast right now to start sharing their day since morning till now, you'll be surprised the thing people will be sharing. And you'll be surprised with the amount of lessons that we are all going to be learning from each other. So, what I say, benchmark with your peers is that it's not because what you're doing now is working that you not want to see what is happening to Grace or Mercy or Paula or Faith. No, it's important because when you want to see what Faith is doing, what Mercy is doing, what Paula is doing, what Grace is doing, it helps you to innovate, to rethink about how you can better do your own. It could be that they are doing it better than you. It could be that they're doing it worse than you. It could be that they are more innovative. And then you're looking at the best practices that they're putting in place to get the kind of result they're getting. Right. Now, one of the best way to explain that is okay, in the speaking industry, we have different speakers. So you will not imagine that I follow a lot of speakers from Africa, from America, from Singapore, all around the world. Now, those are colleagues that they do the same thing I'm doing, but I read almost all their posts on LinkedIn, on Facebook. You know why I do that? I want to see what is working on their own end, and then to see how I can tweak to what is happening here. Right. And I've just been amazed and fascinated all the time with what my guys in Singapore are doing. Most of my friends in Singapore, speakers, they're killing it. All right. And now, most people that kill it in Singapore are those who that study Chinese, and then they also have a master of English because they can easily fly into China and do presentation and training in banks and company. Okay. So that is one of the things that works so well in Singapore. So if you have somebody, if I'm going to Singapore to do speaking there and I want to stay there for some time, one of the things I'm considering to do is to also learn Chinese, so I can be able to be highly competitive in the speaking industry in Singapore, right? And the same thing in America. What you have to study the system. Americans, they understand the system very well and they know how to penetrate into it. So I am studying my friends speakers in America to see what they are doing so I can emulate what they're doing to get the result I want to get. And some of these lessons I'm learning from my colleagues or peers, those are lessons my mentors don't know. They might not even teach me, and they might never know. You get the point? So it is, if I know that I cannot learn from my peers, but only from my mentors, at the end of the day, I'm missing the big chunk of the puzzle of the cake. And so that is why it is important to check what your peers are doing, benchmark with them, not like you're comparing with them, but you're actually genuinely caring and learning and supporting and growing together. That is a game
Mm.
changer. At times you think that you're killing it, but you're joking. At times, yeah, I mean, there's some people that some friends that will make you to be so uncomfortable, so uncomfortable. Right? And that's what I have this my He's a great guy. Bin Jen, he's a speaker, he speaks all around the world. So I receive his emails all the time. And so I realized that one of the things I have to do, because I was learning from him as a peer, all right, which is having kind of mentorship authority. So I was like, do I have an email that goes out every week? And I'm like, I don't have an email. Maybe that's why my business is not growing the rate I wanted it to grow. And guess what? Because Vin he kept bombarding me with emails every day, and I read almost all his emails. Guess what? I had to hire somebody who will work with me on my email marketing. And today we're doing so well with our email marketing. Every week, sending out emails to over 390 subscribers. And the list is increasing every single day. Now, I had two students to train, even from Cameroon, in public speaking because of the email marketing we're doing. Right. Imagine that I was not benchmarking to see what other speakers are doing and focusing only on Facebook, on LinkedIn. I could have been missing a bigger market through email marketing because of ignorance, because I had to benchmark. So you have to start benchmarking.
Hmm. This one, I don't know about the girl. I don't know who that was for, but I feel like this one's for me. It's just, I think it's something that I was putting in the other day. I listen to podcasts a lot actually, because one thing about people like, sir, people who, if you can't grow, you can't have things to share with other people. So I listen to podcasts, I read books, but I've never been listening. And there are podcasts that are really big, they do it so well. And I've never really been listening, maybe from the angle of trying to, okay, let me see how they're doing. Let me maybe even see. But that's like now pushed me that I'm gonna maybe when I'm listening to it now, kind of like see how do they do this one, how do they do this one, maybe improve my own because of course I just started, so I don't know a lot, but that's a way to go. So I think
Yeah.
that's really an awesome idea. So thank you so much for that.
And just to
And
add
then
to
they,
that, Kelly,
okay, sure.
it's not just about listening. If we just end it here, some people might not get it well. So I want to expatiate. I want to add a lesson that my mentor, Charlotte Kemp, the immediate past president of the Global Speakers Federation, taught me when it comes to listening to your peers to benchmark best practices, new practices. Now, anytime you listen to these people, when you come to a podcast of your peers, you want to listen, don't just sit and listen like any other person is listening, right? What you do is that you get a piece of paper,
Okay.
you get like like maybe like an A4 like this one. What you do is that you do this, you draw, you tabulate it. Remember how we used to do in primary school?
Mm-hmm.
In arithmetic, you draw a straight line at the top, another straight line in the middle. Yeah, and then here you write technical lessons, and then here you write practical lessons. Right. So you have technical lessons versus practical lessons. What happens is that when you have technical lessons, anything that your peer is doing, if you're listening to a podcast of your peer, you write technical lesson, practical lesson, and you tabulate. Under the technical lessons, anything that your peer is doing that you're not doing it yet, write it down. Under the practical lesson, anything that he said that actually triggers your brain and blows you away, write it down under practical lessons. Now, at the end of the day, every other person listening might only be listening to get the practical lesson, but you, as a peer, you are listening to get good the technical lessons to improve, innovate, reinvent your podcast, and at the same time getting the practical lessons. So you have to balance it. So that is the mindset from which you should come into the room to learn from your peers.
Mm.
Technical versus practical lessons. And when you do like that, there is no way you cannot be the best in what you're
Thank you, sir. God bless you.
doing.
Now, this point that you mentioned just bring a question that I have to ask you. Okay, there'll be many girls now watching this thing and asking themselves that, okay, maybe I've never had a mentor. I would like to have a mentor. What will you tell a girl who's watching this right now and not say, okay, maybe I have peers, but I think I need a mentor too. How do they go about like getting a good mentor who can like really be a mentor?
I love that. The concept of mentorship has always been misconstrued, especially when it comes to mentorship versus coaching. So I want to give the difference so that when we're talking about the mentorship, they should understand clearly what we're talking about in mentorship. So now a coach is not a mentor. For instance, be right now you started your podcast. Maybe this is 6 months or you're getting to 1 year. All right. You want to be you want your podcast to be among the top 5 podcasts of African Americans, right? Okay, that is a goal, maybe for 2 years or 1 year. Now, it's easy for you to achieve this goal if you have a coach who can take you from point C, where you are right now, to point Z or Y or W. Now, the coach already know exactly what you have to do to get there. So you hire the coach, he comes in and give you strategies, ideas, frameworks that will get you there. Once you get there, you don't have to keep on having that coach. You stop the deal. You already achieve your goal. He goes, you go. That's different from a mentor. A mentor is somebody who comes into your life a little bit like your parents, and he's guiding you through the process. Somebody who has achieved what you want to achieve, who has reached the height you want to reach, or you're craving and yearning or desiring to reach. And then you feel like he has the kind of success that you admire, and you feel like this mentor can actually help me walk the path to success. And then you say, okay, I love your qualities, I love your values, I would love to have you as mentor. So you have a dream, you were going somewhere in your life, and you that person you feel like you prayed about it, and you feel like this person is the person who can guide me. And take note of this. This is very important. Take note of this. This person could be a male or a female. Not only that, this person could still be a junior to you, as in terms of your junior brother or your junior sister or your elder.
Okay, interesting.
The point you make up your mind to have a mentor, you must be able to be you must be able to be coachable and to be teachable. Because a lot of people fail in life because they did not yield to the advice, to the counsel of their mentors, because they were like, who are you to tell me what to do? Look at your age, look at where you're coming from. If you're not coachable, you're not teachable, you cannot work and succeed as a mentor or a mentee. You have to be coachable. I said as a mentor and mentee because it's not only the mentor that teaches the mentee also teaches the mentor. I mean, I've discussed with my mentors and they keep appreciating me for the things I've taught them, right? And I don't jerk my shoulder and say, oh, I'm teaching my mentor. I'm like, I'm saying I'm grateful that you were able to listen to me, and if it makes sense to you, I'm glad to hear that, sir, or I'm glad to hear that, ma'am. I do that with humility, you know what I mean? So let me come back to the notes and the credits of it. When a young girl needs a mentor that she believes can help her get to where she's going to, and this mentor is another girl, be it young, be it older, that is normal. Be it younger, where she might like, can I be able to take this? It's up to you to choose where you're going to. On the other hand, when this mentor is a male, that's the opposite sex, it's also very important for you to take something into consideration. I have a trainer in Cameroon. Her name is Larissa Kuo. She's actually the manager of the Texas in Sopopi speaking Cameroon right now. A few months ago, at the start of 2020, start of 20 January, earlier days of January, she made a post on Facebook and she said, young girls, listen to me. She said, I'm just paraphrasing what she said. That was very interesting. She said, when a man stands in front of you and is teaching you something you need to know and learn from it, and you are crushing the man, I don't know whether that's the right word, crushing, you're
Crushing on.
you're crushing on the man, and you're crushing on the man, that makes you to be very stupid to yourself and to your generations. So you don't have to crush on the man that is there as a mentor, teaching you things you need to know to succeed in what you're working on it. Because when you do that, at the end of the day, you can deviate, you can forget the things he's teaching you and be thinking about different things. You know what I mean?
Messi sexy fine boy. God,
You
this
know what
guy
I
is
mean?
mad.
Yeah. So you're like there is a C
See
fine
fine
boy,
boy.
and then you forgot that that fine boy is your mentor. Is a mentor, and this man has literally been brought to your life by God. Then you pray all the prayers you pray that God should answer you, God should do this. God has brought a man in the name of a mentor who is going to guide you and teach you and lead you and inspire you and motivate you above and challenge you to get that. And then he has come now and you're like, see fine boy, like see fine man. And at the end of the day, you're not careful. Okay, you miss the lessons, you miss the transformation, you miss all of those things, and you only regret after that. Oh, he's not around again, and it's done. So when it comes to mentorship, you be sensitive. So young Christian singles, listen to me, listen to me.
This
Okay,
part is really important.
yeah, your mentors are very important. You have to be humble. Joseph succeeded in his mission because he was very humble, very disciplined, and very dedicated. Right. So he was able to listen. He was able to act. Right. At every given time, he had thoughts that could derail him. He will refocus his thought. And one thing you need to understand is that it is easy to take a decision that can derail your life and your destiny, but you always inquire the consequence of the decisions, like we started talking before you take them. Number two, you always have to know that every wrong decision, every time you unfocus yourself, you are not focused. It takes like an average of 27 minutes to refocus your mind what you're learning. And by the time, most of the time, 27 minutes, by the time the 27 minutes done or elapsed for you to refocus your mind, the lesson was finished already. and you're trying to figure out what was happening, what was my mentor saying, and your mind was already elsewhere. And so you have to be so focused and sensitive, because 27 minutes is a lot of time for you to bring back your focus to get the lessons, to get the teaching. So you get mentors. It's okay to get male or female, but your boundaries must be well defined, very clear, and the objectives highly, highly set, and you stick to that. You stick to that.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's
Thank
what I.
you, sir. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. But just a quick question, just to clarify again for people who have never ever like done this.
Yeah.
Like when you've prayed about it and say I see Mr. Oliver Nshom, I want him to be my mentor.
Yeah.
Like, do I just go to him directly and say, "Oh, hello, Mr. Oliver Nshom. I like your values. I love where you've gone and reached in life. I'd like you to be my mentor." Or you just let it be and let it, how do you go about it if you know that, okay, I've prayed, I'm led to this person? Like, I want practical now so that people will know that they'll not say, okay, he said we can get a mentor by praying or by seeing somebody. And what should they do when they've seen somebody? Do you go knock directly, knock the door directly, speak, shoot your shot directly to that mentor, or
Yeah. Okay, that's a good one. I love what Messi said. Messi said that they didn't send Joseph Finger. Messi is very interesting. They didn't send Joseph Finger. By the way, that's a good question, B. So I've could you imagine me? B, I've reached out to a lot of people to mentor me, and they say no, sorry, I can't mentor you. Yeah,
really?
yeah. I mean, a lot of people. Now,
Okay.
I at first I was angry with the people. Like, how dare you say you cannot mentor me? And then I realized, I understood why they said they could not mentor me. And most of them that told me that they could not mentor me was because, one, they were too busy and they never had time to mentor anybody at that season in their life, in their careers. Some
Okay.
of them were working on their PhD programs in America, and they were so focused trying to finish the thesis and do whatever they had to do. And when they told me that they could not mentor me, I was like crazy. I was like, how dare you don't mentor me? And it was funny because I was so naive and ignorant that I never knew the root of work, the visions God has given them, and the focus that they had to maintain. Then when I realized that not long from now, because a lot of people got to me to mentor them. I'm like, sorry, I can't mentor you. I don't have time. I was like, oh, I understand what happened the last time. So what's my point? This is my thesis, right? When you see somebody, you feel like this person can mentor me. Never ever just write to the person, hey, can you mentor me? That's crazy. That's ridiculous. Never do that. That shows that you don't have intentionalities, you don't have clarity, you don't. And most of the time you write to me, can I mentor you? Most of the time I will like, why do you want me to mentor you? What's the mentorship all about? What do you seek to achieve in this mentorship? So there's a series of questions that ask like 6 to 7 questions. And if you cannot be able to answer this question with clarity, I'm like, I'm not the right person. All right. So when you want someone to mentor you, you must have the why first. Number two, you must know why you want the person to mentor you. Then number two, you must be able to understand what you seek to gain in that mentorship. Right? It could be a temporary mentorship, it could be a long-term mentorship. What do you seek to get? And again, young people nowadays, they are very, some are very emotional. They just see you. So if somebody sees you and you're good at what you're doing, or maybe you're having some result in what you're doing, the next thing, like, can you mentor me? Can you be my mentor? And what's of it? Some just claim mentorship, some just write to you on Facebook that you are my mentor. I'm like, really? Like, oh, damn, like,
There's one guy, there's one Liberian guy that does that to me. He will write me and say, my mentor, it's been a while, but I'm not your mentor.
I'm like, bro.
Oh my God. I'm like, I'm not your mentor. She's like, oh, I've been learning a lot from you. I'm like,
Yeah,
hey
I
God.
mean, yeah, I mean, it's
This is so
crazy
funny
because
because
you don't claim mentorship. I understand. There's people you watch them afar, you learn from them, they inspire you, they challenge you. That is, they inspire you. They're kind of like people you look up to, role models and stuff like that. But they are still not your mentors. I mean, for you to call somebody a mentor, you need to have a relationship with the person that is defined. And you have moments where you meet for sessions. And you meet once in a year or twice in a year or thrice or many times in a year. That is defined. That's mentorship. So most of the time, I mean, 85% of the things people call mentorship or the relationship people call mentors is not really mentorship. It's just like somebody says, it's kind of flirting. It's kind of just getting confused, right? Because you cannot call somebody your mentor who doesn't know where you live, who doesn't know a little bit of your family, your business, your work, what you're doing. It's insane. It doesn't work like that. I've done that before. Be like, I've called a lot of people my mentors, and they have never met me before. So I'm actually guilty of that in the past. I used to call everybody mentor that I admire. I just say this is my mentor. You know what I mean? But I learned that a mentor is somebody you have a relationship with, you having some sessions with, or you have times you meet and all of that. So that is mentorship. That's how I look at that. That's the lenses from which I look at mentorship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, anybody has any question? If anybody has any questions, please put in the comments for Sir Oliver. If anybody has a question for him, please put in the comments. And again, you can connect with him on Facebook. He's Oliver Nshom. You learn a lot from him. Oliver Nshom, I'll put his name in the comment section. That's exactly how he is on all social media platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. He's Oliver Nshom. If you want to learn how to speak, he has trainings that he does. Even currently in Cameroon, he has people that work with him. Definitely connect with him. This is a great man. Aside from that, I think I'll just ask a last question so we don't keep you here forever. And the last question is coined from one of the points I made in my last video and something that you said too about your story. I wasn't going to ask that, but when you talked about your story, I was like, okay, I think I need to ask this one. You mentioned your condition was really bad growing up in a place that people are not going to secondary school. You were like one or two people going to school. I realized that if you didn't intend to really just look past that and move ahead, you would have played the victim card and just said, oh,
Mm,
my circumstances have put me here, so I'll remain here. One of my points was living from victimhood to responsibility. But at some point, you had to say, no, even though this is the situation I found myself in, I can't remain there. But I
mm.
feel like most people blame everything, everyone, their family, their situation, their mother for being poor, their
Because
father for being poor.
government,
How do you transition from that? How do you tell somebody now that you alone are responsible for your life, who has been playing the victim? Like, see yourself as an example. It's a clear example that you
mhm,
had the worst of situations, but you walked past that. So
mhm.
let's hear a bit from that.
Brilliant question. Brilliant question. So there is a lesson I learned from one of my managers here in United States that I work with. His name is Caleb Parker. Caleb Parker is the son of my mentor, Tom, and Caleb is a phenomenal guy. Caleb is phenomenal, like very tall guy. So one day I took the company's car. I traveled 100. I drove 100 and I drove like 1 hour 45 minutes. I went right in a long distance. So I came back, and when I was coming back, when I was reversing to be driving and coming back, the car got a little crash behind when I was reversing from the car that was behind me. And I hit, when you're reversing the car and you just hit, like, when you hit it lightly, you don't feel it. So that's the kind of hit I'm talking about. So I came back and parked the car, and I did not notice that there was a small crash behind the car. And then the person that had to drive the car back home took the car and then noticed that, and he was the one. And so the next day he told me that, did I notice that there was a crash behind the car? I'm like, "Da, da, da, da." I was like, no, I did not really notice. I didn't pay attention to that. And he just told me that, Oliver, you have to learn to own your mistakes. You have to learn to own your mistakes. And that was, if there's one lesson I've learned in America, for the time I've been here, is that lesson, Kelly. You
Okay.
have to learn to own your mistake. Now, why am I coming from this background? I wanted the those who listen to you to really get the point I want to explain before I show this story. If you failed because your parents could not help you succeed in life, you actually intentionally decided to fail. If you
Okay.
fail because you have a disability, you actually intended to fail. Because many of you must have heard about Helen Keller. right? Born blind, dumb, deaf, but became one of the greatest poets in the world ever. She had all the reasons to give up, but she could not. And so the point is that you have to learn to own your mistakes when you make them and don't put
Mm,
it on other people. When you screw up, you have to acknowledge that I have screwed up, I've messed up, I made a mistake. And then you must acknowledge that. You know, Kelly, we live in a world where people are being glorified for showing that they are strong, for showing that they cannot make mistakes, for showing that this and that. But to truly succeed and take ownership and own your life and achieve your goals, you must be able to acknowledge when you mess up, when you made a mistake, and own the mistake and not put the blame on other people. So to me, I knew that if I was to become successful, I have to do that. If I was to fail, I would never blame my mom because she played her role so well. I will never blame my dad because he did all his best. I will never blame my siblings because they did all their best to support me. I will never even blame the ecosystem. I will not even blame the government of Cameroon or America. You know what I mean? I will not even blame my neighbors, my mentors. I will only blame myself. And so once you master this secret that you have to own your mistakes. When you mess up, you must own it. When you fail, you must own that failure and face your fears squarely. When you have a master of this secret, there is no height in life you cannot reach. And so that is what I did. I did not want to blame anybody in my life for failing, but I knew that if I fail, well, I screwed up. And so I was working hard. I was working as though everything depended on me to succeed. And having the kind of faith that I was like, everything depends on God for me to help me succeed. And so that's
mm,
the mindset I came into in every board meeting, in every conference I'm speaking at, in every stage I am going to, in every country I'm flying to speak. That was the mindset I had. If everything must work, it's up to me. If
mm,
everything must not work, it's still up to me. So I was always getting with the mindset that I have to win and I must win.
mm,
Some of my friends here that told me that il fait that Oliver, tu es condamné pour réussir dans la vie. Tu es condamné. You know what I mean? That somebody is condemned to succeed. Like
mm.
your sentence to succeed in life.
Yeah, definitely.
Everybody watching us right now, if you can learn to accept your mistakes, acknowledge that you make a mess out of a situation. When you learn to do that, that's where success actually begins. When people see that you acknowledge that, that's when they trust you the more. That's when they believe in you the more. That's when they want to collaborate and work with you the more. And when you begin to do that, I can confidently say, like my friend will always say, you are actually sentenced to succeed in life. Nothing can stop you with that mindset.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Seth. Thank you so much. Like, I know you've said a lot today, and trust me, we would love to listen to you all day. We could literally listen to you all day. Your experiences are incredible. Your wisdom is so much that we would really love to hear. But if there's one thing that I'll be leaving here with today, if there's one thing I really love to 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 live with today is that thing that you said people should learn from mentors, people should learn from that. So, oh, okay. I think Mercy said something that she noticed that you addressed everyone by their name and you reference their names, and that's one of the principles of how to make friends and influence people. Yeah, that's nice.
And that
That's
energy.
awesome. Yeah, definitely. That's a great book. Every most recommended too. So honestly, we would love to have you all day, like I was saying, but we can't keep you all day. You're a busy man. You have lots of things to do, but we appreciate you a lot for coming. But I want you to just give a last word. Just say a last word. Nobody has posted a question, so I'm going to assume no one has a question right now. But definitely, if you connect with Mr. Oliver Nshom on social media. This man is amazing. Personally, I go to him for ideas for stuff. He's so helpful and he's down to earth, really humble. So, sir, we really appreciate you again. And please just give us one last. Well, he said, please come back again. Somebody said, please come back again. And definitely would want to have you back again. We definitely would like to have you back again, of course, here.
Awesome.
And even bigger and better, and by God's grace.
Yeah.
So, just say a last word to us so that we can close.
Okay.
Anything that you want the Christian girl to know out there, anything at all.
Okay. For you to succeed or fail, your decision is here. The tools are here. The result is here. Have you ever noticed when you want to eat, which part of the body fits the other? B. When you want to eat, when you're eating food, which part of the body is fitting the other? Is it the upper part that's fitting the downer part, or is the downer part that's fitting the upper part?
The upper part fits the downer.
Okay. So where is the hand? Where do we have the hands? So
The up-
if we can assume that the hands are down from the neck, we have down from the neck. That's the downer part, and then from the neck up is the upper part. So when we're
oh,
eating, yeah, which one is feeding the other?
the down.
Okay, the down is feeding the upper, I guess,
Hmm.
right? So when you want to bathe, which part is bathing the head? Is it the down or the head bathing the head? You see, is the down that bathes the head? Is the hand that bathes the head, right?
Listen, can you say it again? You just
Okay.
confused me there, right there.
Okay, so the point is this, right? When you want to when you want to walk, is it the head that is walking with your body or the legs that are walking with the body?
When you want to walk, it's the
Yeah,
legs
when
that are
you're
walking.
walking, yeah.
It's the legs, the
Thank
legs.
you so much. The legs are working with the body, right? When you want to eat, what happens? Is it the hands that feed the mouth or the mouth that feed the hands? Right?
The hands
The
that
mouth,
feed
yeah,
the mouth.
the hands feed the
My
mouth. Am I
sister, she
correct?
likes how I'm confused. Oh my god.
Right? You're not confused. You answer the question correctly. So the hands feed the mouth. Am I correct?
Hmm.
So this is a lesson we need to learn from nature. Most of the time, anytime you allow your body to control your mind, your thoughts, your decisions, you always land yourself into trouble, Christian single girls. Okay? So God created us to allow the downer part of our body from the head down to say yes, sir, to the upper part, which is the head, which is the mind, which is the brain. So the moment you allow your body from the neck down to tell you how you should use your brain, your mind, you're heading to trouble. So if you want to make 2026 and the rest of these years the best of your years, you must learn to tell from the neck down, shut up your mouth.
Okay.
Stop. And allow your mind to lead your life. Allow your brain to lead your body. Allow your psyche to lead your entire life, because that is how it was supposed to be. And when you begin to do that, even the forces of nature will begin to respect you, will begin to obey you. You start entering doors that you never dream, never believe you could enter. Rooms around the world begin to open to you that you never believe that could be possible, because you are not doing what you're supposed to do. And what you're not supposed to be doing is align your body to lead your mind, to lead your thought, to lead your brain. And what you're actually supposed to do, according to how God created you and I, worst, to actually allow your head to lead your life, to lead your body, to lead every part of you. So when you learn to allow the head to do the job that it was born to do, girl, there is no height you cannot reach. People like
Mm,
people like Michelle Obama, Mother Teresa, that's what they did. They allowed the head to lead the body. They did not allow the body to lead the head. And
mm.
that's my parting words for tonight.
No, God bless you, sir. God bless you. That was really, really a lot. Yes, Mommy Elder has concluded it. Thank you, Clary. She said if 2020 has to be a successful year, 2026 has to be a successful year, we have to let our minds control our body and not our body control our mind. That was amazing and fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Oliver and Nshom. Thank you so much for accepting our invite and for gracing Dear Single Christian Girls. Just like Mercy and other people are saying, we would love to have you again, definitely in the future, and it'll be bigger and better. God bless
Amen.
you, and I really appreciate you. And thank you, everyone, for coming. Mercy, we see you. Clarice, Mommy Elder, we see you. And any other person who joined and you didn't say yourself in the comment section, we see you. Whoever is going to be watching after this, we see you and we appreciate you. Let's keep learning, growing, glowing, and becoming better one day at a time. Thank you, everyone, for
Amen.
coming. Yeah,
Yeah.
until next time.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the great job you're doing. I'm so proud of you, and there's still much ahead of you that you have to do. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Definitely, sir. Thank you. Definitely would learn and grow and become better. I appreciate you a lot. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your day, sir. And everyone, enjoy the rest of your evening and day wherever you are. Until next time. Bye. Bye.